Today we're talking about You. No, not You, the Netflix show. You tells a story of a young bookstore manager named Joe Goldberg, played by Penn Badgley. When a beautiful girl named Beck comes into the bookstore one day, it sparks an obsession with our main protagonist Joe and leads some very questionable and frightening behavior. I think we all, within the first 5 episodes, caught a pretty good idea of Joe's obsession. And let's just say he went through some crazy lengths to be in Beck's life. In short, your main protagonist Joe Goldberg has an infatuation with individuals, which later becomes an unhealthy obsession. This eventually leads to them, or someone close to them, being killed. What stands out about You is not only the obsession, but the way Joe inserts himself into people's life. Let's take Beck, for instance. There's so much planning and precision involved when going about this for him. It's a little bit scary and at times creepy, but this series definitely does it in a different way, and it sets it apart from other shows. Like, I will say, it definitely kept me invested every episode. And the narration was on point as well, because Badgley is narrating Joe's every move, thought, and plan throughout every situation. Kind of like we're inside of his head almost, which when you think about it is kind of terrifying because there's a lot of alarming things and a lot of red flags in this person's head. Honestly, this series kind of reminds me of famous movie American Psycho, with its protagonist Patrick Bateman, being played by Christian Bale, is an urban professional who lives a second life as a gruesome serial killer. He would basically, in the movie, invite guests over to his house and brutally murder them. But back to You. At times, I'd feel like the show was unbelievable, given that with certain characters, it was obvious about their ill intent, but somehow their intentions would go under the radar. Hence, at times I would lose some aspect of realism while watching the series. But I have to give credit where credit is due. The main protagonist, while he had a lot of loopholes and a lot of falling outs, wasn't exactly a stupid protagonist. I mean, he can't be. He was literally getting away with murder. But it's much more than that. At times, it would feel like we were in the mind of a psychopath, as he would at times conflict his own shortcomings, even questioning to himself whether it was a good idea or not, or whether what he did was wrong. Later on in the series, he finds another girl named Love, who at the surface seems like a nice girl. But he later on finds out that she's just as crazy, if not crazier, than he is. Seeing their interactions with each other was quite interesting. They were so similar, in fact, that Joe even found himself combating himself in this psychological warfare, basically seeing himself in her, who later became his newfound wife. At the time of making this video, Season 4 is currently airing. I'm looking forward to see what they have planned for the future and whether there will be a next season. But I digress. This show definitely had me at the edge of my seat. With lots of different plot twists and turns, nothing was what it seemed. Going into Season 4, the mind games were absolutely insane. This series truly delves into the mind of a psychopath. But what do you think? Was this series a W or an L? Comment down below what you think about the series. And as always, subscribe and like the video. I will see you guys next time.